When someone silently celebrates your failures, it's one of the clearest signs that they don't just dislike you, they hate you deeply. Not with loud outbursts or confrontations, but with quiet satisfaction when things fall apart for you. And the most disturbing part, you often don't see it right away, because these people hide behind masks of politeness, of concern, or even friendship. But hate doesn't always show its teeth. Sometimes it hides behind a nod, a fake smile, or even a "that's too bad," when something in your life crumbles. And inside, they're rejoicing. If you pay close attention, the signs are always there. When you succeed, they go quiet. They don't clap. They don't share your joy. They might even disappear from your life for a while. But when you stumble, when your relationship ends, when you lose that job, when your business struggles, suddenly they reappear. Offering fake concern, asking vague questions not to support you, but to confirm their own satisfaction. It's like watching someone take pleasure in your pain, without having the courage to say it out loud. They don't have to laugh at your downfall to be guilty of hate. All they have to do is feel relief when you fail. They feel lighter when you're broken. They feel taller when you're brought low. That's not indifference. That's not neutrality. That's a subtle and deliberate form of emotional violence. And they convince themselves it's harmless because they didn't say anything cruel. But energy never lies. The silence screams. The smile that doesn't reach their eyes tells you more than their words ever will. Real hate is never obvious. The loud enemies are easy to spot. They criticize you, they argue, they attack. But the dangerous ones are quiet. They pretend to be your friend. They listen to your plans, but they never cheer you on. They watch your journey, but they never walk beside you. They ask how you're doing, but only to check if you've failed yet. These people are invested not in your success, but in your failure, because your success threatens them. Your growth highlights their stagnation. Your happiness reminds them of what they lack. So when life knocks you down, they don't offer a hand, they offer a nod of approval, hidden in silence. And you might think, but they were always around. Exactly, they were watching, waiting. People who hate you secretly often stay close, not out of love, but to witness your collapse firsthand. They don't want to miss it, because it feeds something bitter inside them. It validates the part of them that always believed you weren't good enough, or that you didn't deserve what you had. So when things go wrong, they feel justified. They feel proven right. This is why it hurts more when it's someone you know. A friend, a colleague, even family. The betrayal isn't just about what they did. It's about how they felt about you all along. That all the times they listened, they weren't supporting, they were collecting. Collecting failures, insecurities, doubts. And when the moment came, they were emotionally ready to celebrate the fall, not help you rise. But here's what you must understand. Their silent celebration is not a reflection of your worth. It's a mirror of their internal chaos. People who love themselves don't hate others. People who are secure don't rejoice in another's pain. So their response to your failure says everything about them and nothing about you. Let them have their moment of silent victory. Let them think they've won because you stumbled, because the truth is, every fall gives you data. Every setback becomes strength if you rise with awareness. And when you rise not just once, but again and again, they can no longer deny the truth. Your resilience is louder than their hate. Your comeback is the noise that drowns their quiet celebration. So don't waste time confronting these people. Don't argue with their silence. Don't explain your journey to those who secretly prayed you wouldn't make it. Instead, succeed anyway, heal anyway, win anyway. Let your life expose what their silence tried to hide. You don't have to unmask them. Life will. Let them celebrate your failure. You celebrate your rise. Some of the most dangerous people in your life are not the ones who openly hate you, but the ones who pretend to care. They mimic support. They play the role of the trusted friend, the confidant, the "I'm here for you" a voice when you're vulnerable. But what they're really doing is collecting your wounds, learning your weaknesses, so they can use them later, not to help you heal, but to hurt you deeper. This is not misunderstanding. This is precision. They know exactly what they're doing. Their support is a performance. The applause fades as soon as you turn your back. These are the people who ask how you're really doing, not because they care, but because they want intel. They want to know where the cracks are, where the armor is thin, what still haunts you, what still breaks you. And in the moment it feels like trust, it feels like connection. But later, when life puts you in a tight place again, you realize something chilling. The very things you shared in confidence are now being used as weapons. Not in obvious ways. They don't scream your secrets. They just plant them at the right time in the right way, so the damage looks like coincidence. They might say things in front of others that seem small, but they cut deep. A passing comment about your past mistakes. A sarcastic joke about something you once admitted in private. A reminder of how you once broke down, doubted yourself, lost your way. You see, they keep those moments in their pocket like ammunition. And when they feel threatened by your growth, your clarity, your light, they reach for what you gave them in your weakest moment. Not to lift you, but to control you, to shrink you, to remind you, don't get too far ahead. I know the real you. This kind of hate doesn't come with rage. It comes with calculation. It's not loud. It's surgical. And it's always dressed in disguise, empathy, concern, honesty. But you feel it, the way your words are twisted, the way your truth is turned into strategy against you. And by the time you realize it, the damage has already been done. Because emotional sabotage doesn't need a dramatic scene. All it needs is access, and you gave them that because you believed they were safe. What makes this kind of betrayal so brutal is that it poisons the very thing that makes us human, connection. You begin to question yourself. Was I too open? Was it my fault for trusting? And that's where the real damage happens. Not just from what they said, but from what they've made you believe about yourself. That vulnerability is weakness. That openness invites pain, that trusting others is dangerous. But here's the truth. The problem was never your heart. The problem was where you placed it. A person who truly supports you will never use your past as proof against your future. They won't take your tears and build stories around them. They won't wait for the right moment to mention the things you shared in low places. That's not support. That's surveillance disguised as care. And when you catch on, when you start pulling back, they often act confused. What do you mean? I was just trying to help. But real help doesn't leave you feeling exposed. Real support doesn't feel like leverage. This is the game they play. Manipulation through intimacy, control through closeness. And they often get away with it because the world praises them. They're always there for you. Yes, they're always there watching, noting, positioning. But love is not strategic. Compassion doesn't keep score. True connection doesn't collect your wounds like secrets to be unlocked when needed. You have to learn the difference. You have to see the patterns. Because when someone hates you quietly, they don't always push you away. Sometimes they pull you closer so they can strike more effectively. And the worst part, they make you feel guilty for noticing. They turn your awareness into overreaction. They call your boundary selfish. Because the moment you stop giving them your vulnerability, they lose control. So protect your space, not by closing your heart, but by being intentional about who gets to hold it. Let your scars be seen by those who honor them, not those who sharpen their knives with them. Share your journey, but don't hand over the map to those who secretly hope you'll stay lost. And if someone shows you, through action, tone, or silence, that they weaponize your openness, believe them the first time. Because true support uplifts you even when you're raw. It doesn't study your fall. It helps you rise without needing credit. Trust isn't about giving everyone access. It's about recognizing who can be trusted, not to turn your pain into their power. Sometimes the people who sabotage you the most are the ones who say they're just trying to help. Not out loud, not aggressively, but in quiet, calculated ways that slowly chip away at your progress. They don't block your path openly. They plant seeds of doubt. They offer advice that leads you nowhere. They steer you just a little off course, just enough to slow you down. And when the results show, when things fall apart or opportunities slip away, they shrug and say, I was only trying to help. But deep down, they knew what they were doing. Because real help doesn't make you second. Guess your purpose. Real support doesn't drain your spirit. This kind of sabotage is one of the most deceptive forms of hate because it doesn't wear the face of an enemy. It wears the face of a friend, a mentor, a partner, even family. They speak in soft tones, they wrap their intentions in concern. But their help comes with consequences. Every time you trust their opinion, you end up smaller. Every time you follow their suggestion, you move further away from who you really are. It's not an accident, it's a strategy, and the worst part is that you blame yourself for it. Because they never told you not to try, they just redirected your effort. They never said you couldn't, they just made you feel like maybe you shouldn't. They'll say things like, "Are you sure you're ready for that?" Or maybe you should wait until you're more stable. It sounds reasonable, it even sounds wise, but what it really does is slow your momentum, kill your courage, freeze your forward movement, and then, when you hesitate long enough, when that opportunity passes or the passion dies down, they act like nothing happened. They act surprised by your disappointment, as if they had nothing to do with it. This is subtle sabotage, done not through force, but through disguised influence. And here's the truth. People who do this often feel threatened by your growth. Not always consciously, but deeply, internally, they fear being left behind. Your ambition highlights their complacency. Your courage exposes their passivity. So instead of rising with you, they hold you down gently, in ways that don't look like control. They wrap their fear in advice. They wrap their jealousy in logic. And you, because you care, because you trusted, you listen. You pause, you delay, until you start wondering why you're not moving forward anymore. That's how they win. Not by fighting you, but by convincing you to fight yourself. And when you finally start to wake up, when you notice the pattern and begin to speak up, they retreat into the safety of that one phrase, "I was just trying to help." Those words are a shield, a way to escape accountability, because who questions help, who argues with concern, but you feel it in your gut. Help that harms is not help at all. Support that shrinks you is not support. And someone who repeatedly makes your life harder while claiming good intentions is not your ally. This is not about paranoia. This is about clarity, about learning to recognize when someone's advice is a leash, when their guidance is a cage. You don't have to cut everyone off, but you do have to become sharper. Watch how people respond to your ideas. Notice who gets quiet when you're excited. Pay attention to who always has a "but" when you're about to leap. It's not always envy. Sometimes it's fear disguised as protection. But either way, it's sabotage if it keeps you small. Protect your vision, especially in its early stages, when it's still tender, still forming. Not everyone deserves to speak into it. And just because someone has known you for years, doesn't mean they know what's best for your next chapter. Distance yourself from those who dim your light under the name of realism. Realism is not the opposite of dreams. Fear is. And if someone repeatedly hinders your growth, even in small ways, even with polite language, believe their pattern, not their words. Because love doesn't disguise sabotage as support. Love empowers, it strengthens, it moves with you, not against you. And you deserve to be surrounded by people who don't just say they want to see you win, but whose actions match their words. If they were truly trying to help, you wouldn't feel so heavy after every conversation. There's a kind of person who doesn't attack you directly, doesn't insult you publicly, and never shows open hatred. Instead, they watch, they study you, they mirror you. At first, it looks like admiration, even flattery. They like what you wear. They start using the same words you do. They take an interest in what you're passionate about. But over time, you start to see something deeper, something darker. They don't just want to be like you, they want to be *you*. And then, they want to beat *you at your own game. This is not inspiration. This is hidden competition fueled by quiet resentment. They start by copying the surface, the way you speak, the way you dress, the things you post, the ideas you express. But beneath that surface is a burning desire to outdo you, to replace you, to prove to themselves or to others that they're better at being you than you are. That kind of behavior doesn't come from admiration. It comes from hate that hasn't found a voice yet. It comes from envy that's been quietly growing in the shadows. And when you notice it, it feels confusing. You want to believe the best, you want to think maybe they just admire me, but it's more than that. Because admiration celebrates you, competition tolerates you only long enough to surpass you, and they'll do it with a smile. They'll stay close enough to gather all the information they need, but distant enough to avoid truly supporting you. They want access, not connection. They want your formula, not your friendship. You see, people who imitate you to outshine you are not inspired, they're threatened. Your success, your originality, your presence, it unsettles something in them. Maybe it reminds them of what they haven't done. Maybe it shines too bright on their own lack of clarity. But instead of doing the inner work, instead of carving their own lane, they take from yours. And they think if they dress it differently, speak it louder, or present it more confidently, no one will notice where it came from. But you notice, because it was your truth first, your story, your essence. And when you watch someone use it like a costume, like a brand, it feels like theft. Because it is. And here's where it gets worse. Once they've taken what they want, they'll try to reposition you as if you're the copy. They'll twist perception, subtly suggest that you're following them, that you're second, that you're the shadow. And it works sometimes, because people love the loud version of something they once ignored in its quiet form. They love trends more than they love truth. But don't let the noise fool you. The original never loses its power, even when it's imitated. You have to understand this isn't about ego, it's about energy. It's about recognizing when someone is trying to extract your light to fuel their own spotlight. They don't want to walk with you, they want to get ahead of you using what you built. And if you're not careful, you'll start doubting yourself. You'll start thinking maybe you should stop creating, stop sharing, stop leading, just to avoid the discomfort. But that's exactly what they want, because if they can't dim your light, they'll try to exhaust it. If they can't outdo your essence, they'll try to make you question it. So how do you respond? You don't shrink. You don't silence your gift just because someone else is trying to wear it louder. You keep moving. You keep evolving, because they can only copy who you were, never who you're becoming. And the moment you stop looking back at who's mimicking you, you start running ahead with a speed they can't match. Because imitation is always reaction. Originality is creation. And the truth is, no one can outshine the source. No matter how loud they get, no matter how polished they seem, if the root isn't real, it won't last. So don't fight for credit, don't beg for recognition. Let your consistency speak. Let your growth make the noise. Let your evolution be the response. Because while they're busy trying to be you, you're busy becoming someone even they can't predict. Let them copy your path. You're already building a road they'll never reach. Some people don't want you to grow, not because you've done something wrong to them, but because your growth threatens their comfort. They don't know how to handle the version of you that is healing, evolving, and rising. So what do? They pull you backwards, not with force, but with reminders. They bring up your past, not as a lesson, not from love, but as a weapon. To keep you in place, to block your progress, to trap you in an old version of yourself they secretly wish you'd never outgrow. And they'll do it in ways that seem casual. Remember when you used to? Oh, that's not like you, you've changed. At first glance, these comments feel like jokes, light-hearted memories. But there's a tone, there's a sting, because behind those words is the message: stay small, stay familiar, stay where I understand you. And if you're not grounded in your new self, if you're still shaky in your transformation, these moments can drag you back. You start questioning your worth. You start wondering if you've really changed, and that's exactly what they want. They don't want the new you. They want the version that made fewer moves, took fewer risks, made them feel bigger by being smaller. The one who doubted themselves, the one who apologized for being too much, the one who didn't know how powerful they really were. So they use your old wounds as chains, not to keep you safe, but to keep you stuck, and they disguise it as concern. I just don't want you to get hurt again. Are you sure this is the right path for you? But it's not protection. It's projection. It's their fear, not your reality. These people often appear when you're on the edge of something new, a promotion, a new relationship, a personal breakthrough. That's when the comments come. But what about last time? Didn't you already try something like this before? They remind you of every failure, every wrong turn, every breakdown you had when you were still finding your footing. But what they don't mention, what they won't acknowledge, is the courage it took to rise from that. The strength you built, the wisdom you gained, because acknowledging your growth means they have to accept that you're not the same. And some people can't handle that, because if you're growing, it means they might have to grow too. And not everyone is ready to meet that version of themselves. Sometimes, the people who bring up your past the most are the ones who haven't moved forward with their own lives. They haven't done the healing, they haven't made the leap. So instead of facing their own stagnation, they focus on yours, or rather, the version of it that exists only in their memory. They hold onto your lowest moments, because those are the moments that made them feel secure. But you are not your mistakes. You are not your history. You are the lessons. You are the change. And if someone can't see that, it says more about their vision than your reality. You don't owe anyone a permanent seat in your story just because they were there for a chapter. Especially not if they keep trying to reopen pages you've already healed from. If someone only knows how to relate to the version of you who is broken, unsure, or small, let them go. You're not responsible for their refusal to update the image they have of you. You don't need to defend your growth. You don't need to justify your change. Real supporters will acknowledge where you came from and still celebrate where you're headed. There's a line between reflection and restriction. Reflection reminds you how far you've come. Restriction tells you you're not allowed to go further. And people who keep bringing up your past to limit your future are not reflecting with you. They're trying to restrict you. Don't confuse their memory with truth. Just because they remember who you were doesn't mean they understand who you've become. You are allowed to evolve beyond someone's comfort. You are allowed to be unrecognizable to those who only knew the version of you that survived, the version that compromised, the version that didn't know any better. You're not here to stay familiar. You're here to grow, and growth will always make some people uncomfortable, especially the ones who needed you to stay the same, so they wouldn't have to confront their own lack of progress. So if they keep bringing up your past to block your future, remember this: that's not love, that's not care. That's fear wrapped in familiarity. And your path deserves more than people who only see you through the lens of who you used to be. Keep rising anyway. There are people who smile in your face but sharpen their knives the moment you walk away. They don't challenge you directly. They don't confront you honestly. Instead, they discredit you quietly when you're not in the room to defend yourself. They question your intentions, twist your words, diminish your efforts, and cast shadows over your name, all behind your back. And when you return, they wear the same face, speak the same warm greetings, and pretend like nothing happened. But something did. Your name was in their mouth, not with praise but with poison. This kind of behavior isn't random. It's rooted in resentment and hidden dislike. They may act cordial, even friendly, but deep down, they can't stand your presence. Not because you hurt them, not because you did anything wrong, but because you represent something that unsettles them. Maybe it's your confidence, maybe it's your success, maybe it's your light. Whatever it is, they feel smaller next to it. And instead of doing the inner work to grow, they try to pull you down with whispers and lies. They discredit you not with loud accusations, but with quiet doubt. They say things like, "I don't know if they're really that committed," or "they mean well, but they're a bit too much sometimes." They make you look unstable, unreliable, untrustworthy, subtly enough that it seems like concern, not sabotage. That's the danger. It doesn't come with sirens. It comes with soft tones and fake empathy, but the damage is real. It corrodes how people see you. It plants seeds of hesitation in others. It creates gaps between you and opportunities you didn't even know were being considered. And the hardest part, you often don't find out until much later, after the energy shifts, after the support fades, after the door closes, and you don't know why. It's not just betrayal, it's theft. They steal your credibility, your reputation, your trustworthiness, and they do it when you're not looking. Not because you deserved it, but because they couldn't handle your rise. These are the same people who will repost your success online, smile with you in photos, act proud of you in public, and yet, behind scenes, they undermine you. To colleagues, to mutual friends, sometimes even to your closest circles, and they do it without remorse. Because to them, this isn't cruelty, it's correction. They're balancing the narrative. But there's no balance in cutting someone down when they're not there to stand tall. They may even pretend to advocate for you while simultaneously reducing you. Oh, they're good. I just think they still have a lot to learn. That's not support. That's subtle slander. It's saying just enough to shake someone's faith in you while still sounding helpful. These are the people who act like your name in their mouth is a favor, when really it's a knife dressed as a compliment. And what makes it more painful is when it comes from someone you thought was close, someone you supported, believed in, stood beside, someone who once celebrated you, but only when you were on their level or behind them. Because now that you're rising, now that your voice carries more weight, they can't handle it. So they don't attack the version of you standing in the room. They attack the version of you when no one's watching. But you can't spend your life explaining yourself to people who already decided to misunderstand you. You can't waste your energy defending yourself in rooms you weren't invited to. The truth always rises. Character always reveals itself, and those who quietly try to tarnish your name will eventually have their own exposed. The solution isn't revenge, it's resilience. It's standing firmer in your integrity, even when you know someone is trying to tear it down. It's showing up with excellence again and again until your results are louder than their rumors, because lies may travel fast, but truth travels further. And the people who matter, the ones meant to walk with you, they'll feel the difference. They'll know the difference. Your consistency will speak louder than their contradictions. Let them talk. Let them twist. Let them try. You weren't built to be liked by everyone, especially not by those who are committed to misunderstanding you. You were built to move, to rise, to shine, and no whisper in your absence can cancel the light you bring when you walk in.